lost your son under these awful circumstances, and one of the things that struck you was just how quickly and easily this could be accomplished. Is that right?
Exactly. I found Cooper on the side of the canyon. He started to just proceed and walk straight towards the bridge, and got to the middle of it, took off his necklace, took off his hat, threw it at my younger son and Bowdy, grabbed hold of the railings and just propelled himself over the edge of the bridge. He was 6 feet 2 inches. The railing out there measures 47 inches. And so for somebody, you know, of his height and strength, and it was a pretty easy maneuver for him. And I think it would be even for somebody of my size, you know, for anybody. The railing is just inadequate and inappropriate at this point. And this is not only about my son, it's about the safety for everybody. At this point there has been, I believe, over 115 suicides or losses of life off that bridge.
So this bridge, which has been a big draw for tourism and the beauty and so on, also has a very tragic side. It seems that it's drawn people, I believe, from all over the country and the world even, for the purpose of taking their own life.
That is true. It's not. It just hasn't been local people. A majority of the people actually come up from Santa Fe. The most recent person who died about a week after Cooper had jumped off the bridge was from California. So it's become a destination point, and at this point it really needs to be addressed. The Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco, they have just received $76 million for funding for a safety net, and there's been some statistics that prove that people who are attempting to jump off bridges, if they are rescued, 94% of those people continue to lead a normal life. And that was based on a study done for the Golden Gate Bridge.
So with all that you've had to deal with personally and so on, one of the things, like you say, is the importance of dispelling this myth that if somebody's intent on taking their own life, they're going to do it no matter what. And as you said, in fact, it seems, given an opportunity to create a little more time for that person, a little moment that they don't jump, that often that leads to a very healthy and long life afterwards. And so this has greatly motivated this idea.
Exactly. You know, from my experience, had there been maybe a curved railing, you know, that, you know, would come in at about 9 feet tall, you know, having seen, you know, visualize now Cooper climbing up something that was curved, we could have grabbed hold of his feet and pulled him down, and that would have given us, you know, it's that 15 seconds that could lead into 30, that could lead into a minute to an hour to a day into the rest of his life.
And very well cause him to reconsider.
Yes. Exactly. And that, you know, that's the key piece, I think, to this. And just having seen how easy it was and how available it was in a moment of crisis, which was, you know, Cooper's state. So things could have changed.
We know that the Golden Gate Bridge has addressed this, a place that's also been a destination for suicide. Mm-hmm. There's a bridge we discussed in Santa Barbara, which has done similar things. So what are the objections? What is the resistance to doing something similar here, where it's clear that so many people have been attracted to this place for just the purpose of suicide?
I believe there have been some studies done. One of the latest ones was in 2009. The Department of Transportation, you know, had done some analysing, and from what I understood, the end result was lack of funding. It then was quoted as being they needed between 5 and 7 million to initiate some kind of safety barrier, and they just didn't have the funding. So nothing further seemed to have come from that piece.
So Curly, the Gorge Bridge Safety Network has been established, as I understand it, to reach out to the state legislature, the Department of Transportation, and other organizations to impress upon them the importance and necessity of making the bridge a safer place. Mm-hmm. And also, I think, to de-establish it as a place that people go to commit suicide. The organization anticipates a long campaign, and therefore is raising funds. Those funds are going to be used for what purposes for the organization?
Well, we need to reach out to the social media, and that means physically going from city to city around New Mexico, I believe, and it may even mean further and beyond to get people to sign our petition. Social media is a huge part of it, and you know, it would be easier if we had access to a couple of iPads, and we could then, you know, direct somebody straight to our change.org petition website to sign it. So, you know, that's a part of our expense costs, and then also we have to get some banners made. I believe that's around $1,200. A website labor and upkeep for the next year, if not 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, considering that you know, it's taken a long time since this has been done the last time. So cellular service, because we're going to have to hotspot some of our equipment, you know, to access internet. Advertising, we would like to do, you know, one of those roadside billboards potentially. So a lot of advertising expenses and printing costs. So we're anticipating, at least to start with for this first year, we would like to try to raise about $5,000 is what I'm anticipating.
So the spreading of the word amongst people is certainly important. And how about contacting government officials and so on? Is that a piece of the puzzle as well?
I believe it is a piece of the puzzle, but I think as a collective group, helping us in numbers and you know, is really going to be the key, you know. So that's part of our group. We want to represent everybody. We would really like to reach out to other families who have lost loved ones, because you know, this is not only about myself and Cooper, it's also about representing all these other people. And we would like to be in touch with some of those families and include them on our website. We would like to do a timeline and have a photo and a bio of each and every one of those people. If we can put a face to everyone who's lost their lives, I think, you know, that impact is huge.
So there's been so much loss and so much trauma for so many people. It seems suicide is a subject that few want to talk about. It's greatly misunderstood, of course, gratefully painful. Greatly appreciate your bravery and your forthrightness to take this terrible tragedy that's happened for your family, yeah, and to try to turn it in a positive way, to say that there are ways that these tragedies can be reduced, and to remind ourselves, as you say, how many people have been directly or indirectly impacted by such tragedy.
Yeah. I mean, suicide is a hard piece. I think there's a lot of guilt and shame attached to it, because even now, you know, I go, you know, constantly every day, why and how could have I changed things, and what could I have done differently. So, you know, you kind of take that on board, and it's not an easy piece, but I think it's something that if we continue to discuss and keep very present, you know, that helps with my healing process. And you know, it certainly would be easy to shove it under the carpet, but I don't think, you know, it's certainly not the way that I want to deal with things, especially if going on forward into the future, it can help somebody else.
Yes.
I think that's the important part for me. And you know, there's some fine examples of simple ways to make our bridge a safer and more beautiful place. We live in a community of artists. You know, maybe we could involve an art piece. You know, maybe we could have some sculptures at the beginning and the end of the bridge, or some creativeness to whatever it is that we come up with for our design. Was suggested by somebody from out of state to me, and I thought that was a great idea, to make it a more beautiful place, because there is this dark side to it.
Yes.
And if we can, you know, move on from that, I think would be great, and to save one life would be a job well done.